Oregon state legislature's focus on the homeless and housing crisis. Last night, they passed an aggressive $200 million package to address the crisis around the state.
And it now heads to the governor's desk. Blair Best was in Salem today as lawmakers discussed the next steps.
The lawmakers behind these bills are calling this an unprecedented early victory around the homeless and housing crisis, the state's most pressing issues and ones that have been neglected here in Salem for decades. Yet now we're seeing overwhelming bipartisan support to address them. The setting of Wednesday's roundtable at the Capitol was casual compared to the significance of the meeting, the passage of two bills totaling $200 million to address the emergency on our streets.
And I think it was important that we take this step early on in the session.
It's a noteworthy timeline that makes some of the resources in this investment package available in the coming months, as opposed to later this year.
If we had waited and followed the normal process through the legislative session and signed this bill at the end of the session rather than relatively close to the beginning of session, it would not have taken effect until August.
One of the bills funds the governor's $130 million homelessness state of emergency that she declared on her first day in office. That includes increasing shelter capacity and getting people off the streets in areas of the state where the rates of unsheltered homelessness are the highest. The other bill is aimed at speeding up housing production and includes dedicating $26 million to the counties not included in that state of emergency.
Homelessness is not an urban problem, it's an Oregon problem, and we need to address it on a statewide basis.
If we fail in this moment, we fail all of Oregonians. I don't want to fail because my children want to live and work in an area in which they choose, not because that's where they have to, the one thing they can afford.
Now, this all comes as Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler is seeking more funding for his 6 temporary alternative camping sites, the first of which is opening this summer. Although the money in this package goes to counties, not cities. The mayor's spokesperson tells KGW that they plan to ask for some of this money, if eligible, to go toward the sanctioned campsites. Now, accountability is also built into this package, the legislature requiring quarterly check-ins with the groups responsible for spending this money.
How many housing units were created? How many people were housed? Because we invest this kind of money, we want to make sure that we're accomplishing important goals with it.
Governor Tina Kotek commends the legislature for passing the package, saying she's deeply grateful they answered one of the state's most pressing calls for help. Yet the Republicans in the room argue there needs to be robust housing bills to follow and attention to Measure 110.
So we have to take these incremental steps to fix that, and it's going to take all the brain power in this room and then some to figure out how we have to work that together, get that done.
This is just the latest step to address this crisis at the state level, and lawmakers hope this will act as framework for what else they plan to do to address homelessness and housing this legislative session. In Salem, Blair Best, KGW News.